This podcast is brought to you by Affordable Roofing Chattanooga. For the best roof in town, protects against hail, rain, snow, chemtrails, even those in-laws. Call Affordable Roofing. That number is 423-401-2448. Again, that's Affordable Roofing, 423-401-2448. Tony, you are officially the first sponsor of the podcast. And if you need a roof really bad, go ask Tony yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Militia MMA podcast. I'm your host, head coach Tom Galicchio, with one of my promising young prospects, George the Carpenter. George Carpenter.
Oh, yeah. What's up?
How you doing, George?
Pretty good. Yeah. It's fun to be on a podcast.
Did you have any nicknames like growing up?
No, I didn't, but my brother had one. So his so our last name's Carpenter. Well, I guess I got to tell the backstory first. He played soccer, and they're riding in high school. They're riding to a game, and you know how those big buses have the two wheel seats.
Yeah.
And when you go over a speed bump, everybody's like, "Oh, the speed bump's done." You forget that there's the back wheel seat. Well, my brother was sitting on the back wheel seat, and he kind of had to go to the bathroom, right? He kind of had to crap, and they pumped the wheel seat, and he crapped his pants. And
Carpenter?
Yeah,
Carpenter?
that's right. There you go. So they called him Carpenter.
Oh, that's a good one. Are you related to Clay Guida?
No, not at all.
Oh, no, his last name's Guida. His nickname's the Carpenter.
Ah.
Oh, there it is.
See?
I was like, oh, that's Clay Guida's last name is Carpenter. Such a retard. So, George, are you from England?
I am not from England, but I'm first generation. I don't know. I don't really know how you say that.
Yeah,
but I'm like, so both my parents were born and raised in England.
Now, do you go to England a lot?
I've went 2 times. One when I was like 5 months old, so I don't remember any of that. And then one time when I was on my way to Romania to wrestle. So I went to England, went to Romania, and then went back to England.
Was the England just a pit stop before Romania?
Yeah, it was just a pit stop, just to see family, because I have a lot of family there.
Shit. What was Romania like?
Romania was, it had it had some third world vibes to it.
Of course.
But also had just like regular like grocery stores, places like I felt fine walking places and stuff like that. But then you get the like casual stray dog that would kind of bark at you, and you're like, I don't really know if I have to kill a dog today or not. You know what I mean? Like, is it gonna run at me and I'm gonna have to snap his neck? Like, I don't really know. You know, so it's a bit of both. But I kind of enjoyed it. Then we stayed at a certain hotel that was pretty sweet. So it was.
Were you in the rich area of Romania?
No, not to begin. So I was on there was a 2-week training camp, and then a tournament after that. So the 2-week training camp, not in the rich area. The tournament, not in the rich area. There was just like kind of a really random hotel that was nice.
When I was in Chechnya, it was like that.
Okay.
We were staying at the Leaders Hotel, so like. The thing about Chechnya is like their number one thing is fighting.
Okay.
And like all their men in their country got to be fighters. They got to train to fight.
Yeah.
And like if like the leader comes, Ramazan, and like if you tap, he'll kill you. So they don't tap.
Yeah.
And all the men got to be fighters. The women weren't allowed at the fight because it's a Muslim nation.
Right.
And it's not so much like men are this and this is equal. It's like they have their own place.
Right.
Like they still worship women like as goddesses, but their place is not.
It's just different.
Yeah, it's just different. It's the Muslim nation, so there's like no drinking in there. There's no. You get awakened with. I guess they chant or they like hum when they pray in the morning.
Okay.
Did they have any of that in Romania?
Not too much. Not that I saw.
What religion was the area
in Romania?
Was it Catholic?
I honestly have no idea. They were like, and the guys that we were wrestling with, like, we never really talked about it, so I don't really know.
Were they-
And I didn't see them doing anything. Like I didn't see them praying or anything.
There's no like prayer rugs around.
No.
You would know a
Yes,
Muslim nation
right.
if
So
you did.
it definitely wasn't that, or at least at the training facility.
Probably a
we
little
were in.
war torn, right? Did you see any bombed out bridges or anything?
No bombed out bridges, but there was definitely like you know when you see like a soccer field that's just kind of like kids are still playing on it, but it's rough.
It's rough,
you know,
yeah.
that type of thing. Yeah, like kind of like in that'd be a horrible analogy, but like in Call of Duty, you know what I mean? Like like some of those maps you go by.
They
You know?
look like Romania.
Right? Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
I didn't know you played video games.
I used to. I played in high school a lot.
You played in all right,
Yeah,
so that's not that bad.
Yeah, you still play a little bit, right?
A
Sundays?
little bit. I get like 1 day a week on Sunday to play when I'm not doing it, but I won't play online. Those kids are they're too good, and they have no live.
Yeah, I was one of those two good kids with
You
no
were too
lives.
good.
That's
You were a video gamer.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
never would have guessed it.
Yeah.
I figured you had the Camaro. IROC. Well, no, you're English. So what's an English car? An Alfa Romeo? No, that's Italian.
I was just like you see the Ford Ranger.
The
out
Ford
there.
Ranger.
That was that's pretty much been the story.
I thought you played football. You were the quarterback too.
I did play football,
What's
but
the quarterback?
wasn't
He
the
made
quarterback.
the game-winning sneak.
Yeah, not the quarterback.
Figured you probably save some families from a burning building or anything.
nothing like that. Oh man.
I saved a lady from a lake once.
Really?
Yeah, we were tubing. I was with my friend and we were tubing down the lake, and then just this old lady was in there like a buoy about to go down.
Yeah.
Trying to save the grandkid, and the grandkid had his life vest, and she's like sinking. Managed to get the kid, throw it on the tube, and then I grabbed the lady with one arm and boarded the shore.
Well, look at you.
I
See?
know, I did it. Then I left before anybody even noticed. I'm not a fan of getting the praise for it
Right.
or anything. So, all right, back to 3 more hours of tubing.
Yeah.
I hope the hot dog cart comes soon. Actually, I don't like hot dogs. Are you a hot dog eater?
I cannot stand hot dogs.
They're gross.
I don't like casing on things.
Yeah.
So like even sausages, when they're in the casing, you have to like bite through it. Or like
You
beef
don't like
jerky.
the casing.
Yeah, I don't like the casing. It's a weird texture for me.
All right, interesting. I'm not a fan of when things get sausaged.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a huge fan of sausage.
Yeah.
Breakfast sausages I like.
See, I like ground up sausage or like
Okay.
ground up pork, you know?
But
'Cause,
yeah, hot dogs are just gross.
nah, hot dogs.
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
it's a bologna stick.
Hot dogs?
Hot dogs are you don't have to cook them.
Oh, yeah, that's nasty.
That's nasty.
They're objectively nasty.
They're nasty. So what about what was the last time you had fast food?
Fast food? Well, like, what would you count as fast food, right? Or would you count Chick-fil-A as fast food?
What did you get for it? I mean, it is, but
I mean,
what?
all right. Here's the thing. If I go to Chick-fil-A, I hit it. So like, I'm getting 2 4-count strips, a sandwich, a spicy chicken sandwich, a large fry, and then if I'm feeling real frisky, I'll throw a strawberry shake on top of that.
I like the cookies and cream milkshake over
Really?
there.
Okay, I like
That's
the
a
strawberry.
good one. The strawberry's good too.
Yeah, it's good stuff. They got good shakes in general.
That's like a $50 bill right there.
It's a hefty little meal. Yeah.
Well, you're used to it. You shop at Whole Foods.
Yeah, for like a little bit. And then my wife eats kind of like a bird, so
Oh,
it
that's
works
good.
out all right. Yeah.
So, I know you shop at Whole Foods, every Sunday?
We try to go Saturday or Friday so we can see Montana.
See Montana.
Yeah.
You know where to find-
That's like,
Oh,
yeah,
he's not there Sunday.
that's right. So we got to make sure that we go early to see Montana.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's become part of your weekly
Uh-huh.
trip.
Yeah.
Like, see what he's doing.
Yeah, just go see him,
What's
hang out.
he usually doing there?
Usually standing behind the counter, and then we'll like lock eyes from across the Whole Foods, and you'll get the like Montana's face lights up and like the deuces from far off, and then we just migrate towards each other.
Yeah, he's not particularly working too hard, is he? Whenever you see him,
No, not necessarily. Yeah. But that doesn't say it. That's not to say he doesn't work hard. But he's he. It seems like whenever a customer is comes up to him, he's very engaging.
yes,
To them. Yes.
yes, he is.
So
That's
yeah.
more his field. He said we have a member, Will, who's in here, and he was talking about, he works with Montana. It's like, yeah, Montana, you got to ask him like 8 times to get something done, and then he'll just never get it done. He told me the other day, he's like, I just figured out how to fuck off enough. And then when you really got to do something, you really got to do something. That's a good skill.
Hey, there you go. Yeah. You got it.
So, George, you're predominantly a wrestler. When'd you start wrestling?
I started wrestling when I was a freshman in high school.
Oh, you started freshman year.
Yeah. So a little bit later than I guess traditionally.
What did you do anything before that?
Yeah, I played like all the sports growing up. So I did football, baseball, basketball through middle school, and then when I got to high school, it's kind of like there's a few reasons why I didn't continue to play basketball. One, I didn't like the basketball coach. He was our PE teacher, kind of a turd.
Yeah, kind of a dick.
Sorry if you're listening to this.
It's an extra paycheck.
Yeah.
Some guys, it is an extra paycheck for.
Yeah, he just like, and now granted, I was also a turd as a freshman, so I'll put some responsibility in that hat too. So there's that, and then my best friend at the time, his name was George, so he was a wrestler. And he was actually really good. And then football was like my main sport, and I was probably like 90 pounds when I went in freshman year.
Wow.
And so I was super small.
That's like half of you.
Yes. So like I wanted to get bigger and stronger. So I was like, all right, wrestling will get me bigger and stronger. My buddy's doing it, and
His name's George,
right? Yeah, it all kind of makes sense, right? And I really didn't like the basketball coach. So yeah, I started wrestling.
And you were pretty good at it from the start?
Oh, no, I was horrible. I was horrendous. I won one match my freshman year.
Did you start, or did you win one on JV?
So that's the thing is we didn't even fill all the weight classes. Our team just wasn't very good. We didn't basically.
You guys lost every match.
Yes. Oh yeah, every match. Yeah. So my buddy George was good, and there was 103 and 112, and 106 and 112 at that point. Either way, there's like these two weight classes, and
103, 112 at the time.
I think there was something like that. Yeah. So whatever George couldn't make, I would go. So that's like so if he could make the lower weight that week, he would go that, and I would go the higher weight, or like vice versa.
So wait, you were you were a slave to his weight class. So. Were you ever on a good team throughout high school?
So we got good. I won that one match my freshman year, and then my sophomore year, I thought I was a lot better than I was. But I really wasn't even close to making it to the state tournament. But then after that, I was pretty locked in. I wanted to be good, and so I won the state title my junior year.
That's amazing.
And then my junior year, I won state title. My buddy took second.
George?
No, George at that point, his story is kind of crazy, but he wasn't wrestling at that point anymore.
Bummer.
And so another buddy took second. Then my senior year, I think we got to the semifinals of the state duels. So we were a respectable team at that point.
That's really good.
Yeah, we were.
Is there now state duels? Is it? One for
No, North Carolina, it's 4 different divisions.
4 different divisions.
Yeah.
I think Georgia's 8.
Yes, yeah, that's what I just heard that recently.
That's crazy.
Yeah, Daniel was saying that.
Jersey's 1.
Yeah, Jersey, California.
California's 1 too.
Yeah,
and that's a big coast, but the thing about them, it's sections of good.
Yeah.
It's once you cut the state in half, and then really up top, it's like trees, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. I never made it up past I didn't even make it to San Fran. I made it to San Jose.
Okay. Did you ever go south?
Yeah.
Okay, so you stayed kind of
Yeah, I've been in San Diego, and we've crossed over to Mexico before.
Nice. All right.
Yeah, we picked up a stray dog across Mexico.
Yeah. Did you keep it?
No, well, my buddies, his family was a groomer, and he was Mexican, one of my roommates. So he picked one up. They had a dog. They picked it up to sell it and make some money back.
Okay.
So we had to walk across, get the dog, get some tacos, and leave.
There you go. That's a day.
Get out before it gets sketchy.
Yeah,
it's actually one of the. My wife were looking, and there's one of the best water parks ever, just right across the border.
Really?
Yeah, it's because they don't have as much laws and sanctioning, so they'll let you have slides that'll shoot you.
Right.
Actual jumps.
Yeah.
Because safety's not fun.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
It's like, you ever zip line?
No, I've never zipped.
I hear it's not that fun in America because there's too much safety.
Yeah, it's a give and take there.
Yeah, you need a steep slope.
Right. You need a steep slope until someone drops out of the bottom of one of those
Yeah,
things.
that's all right.
Yeah.
He was on vacation in Mexico. What do you expect?
Yeah.
So your team got good senior year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We got respectable by senior year, and then
You were a prospect at that time, senior year, to like go to schools and stuff for college.
So I also played football throughout high school, and
Were you good at football
I was, yeah. So that same year
for
that
90 pounds?
yeah, well, I got bigger. Like that year that I won the state title, I won it at 113 pounds. But a few months before that, we took second at in the football state championship.
Oh wow!
And I started at defensive back. So
did you have to hold back big guys,
yeah, sometimes.
or did you have to chase after the receivers?
Chase after
That
receivers
makes
more
sense.
so.
Then.
But sometimes I would be in the box, kind of like a linebacker. Just a small one.
Just because you're not a hand fight.
Yeah, a little
Hand
bit.
fight
Yeah,
and physics, a little positioning.
yeah. So I was my junior year. We took second as a team in football, but then I decided not to play my senior year because I wanted to focus on wrestling.
Right.
And the coach wasn't overly respectful of me kind of wanting to do that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And I got and he kind of he kind of punked me a little bit. Like I tried to go. You know what Super 32 is? That big tournament, that big high school tournament.
Yeah. For
in North Carolina.
wrestling.
Yes. Yeah. So I wanted to do that while I was during like the football season, and like basically kind of got told off a little bit, and like all that to say is I decided not to play my senior year.
Well, understandable. You got to have your students' best interest involved. Like,
Right.
I'll never tell somebody to like stay at this gym. I'll say like, go away to college.
Right.
If you're coming down the runway, focus on wrestling.
Right.
You can
right.
come see this stuff when it's time, but
Yeah.
it's not like you were going to go to college and play football. You were undersized.
Right.
So you were doing what was best for you.
Yes, and I was hoping that I would be able to do both of them, right? But it seemed like there's going to be a conflict of interest.
Yeah.
So by the time, my senior year, I knew I wanted to go somewhere. I had so everybody's doing like the Common App and stuff, applying for college. I didn't apply for college. I was just like, I know I'm gonna go wrestle somewhere. I wasn't necessarily expecting to get a scholarship to go anywhere, but I knew I wanted to go wrestle somewhere. So that was gonna be my deciding factor. So I went on a visit to Maryland, and they said that there would be a spot on the team for me. And
wow.
At this was probably second half of my senior year, but I was still just unsure.
And they were D1 too, Maryland?
Yeah.
They're D1.
But this was after season. I still hadn't decided where I was going to school. My mom is freaking out.
Oh, the good old
mom.
I'm
like, yo, relax. I'm going somewhere. I'll figure it out, So it's this is April, and we're at a national tournament, and my dad is he's talking all right, what are you gonna do, right? And I was like, I don't know. He's like, if you could go anywhere, where would it be? And I was like, I think Penn State. I really like it there. I'd gone to camps there. They just won a national championship.
Yeah,
right?
they're number one.
Right. Yeah.
Cale
yeah.
Sanderson's the coach.
Right. Exactly. So I'm like, I think I'd really want to go there. He was like, all right, well, you got to go do something about it then. And I was like, all right, that's fair. So I emailed him. I had emailed him a while ago, but I emailed him again. And we're on our way to this national tournament. I email him. And then when I get done, as we're walking out, I recognize one of the coaches, Coach Casey. And I just went over him real quick. Was like, hey, I just emailed you. I'm interested in coming and walking on, or just coming to see if I could have a spot on the team. And we had a quick conversation, and he was like, I'll look out for your email. And basically a few week process. I told him about my story. I started when I was a freshman. I sucked. And then I won a state title. All this, right? And they were long story short, they were like, okay, yeah, if we've got a spot on the team for you if you want to come up. And I was like, they were like, just let us know when you want to. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm coming. They're like, oh, okay, sweet.
That's awesome.
So this is like April of my senior year, and I'm finally like, hey mom, I'm gonna go to school. I'm gonna go to Penn State.
She was thrilled.
Yeah. So that was sweet.
They give you any money to go?
No, I was gonna say that was the only thing that
But
wasn't so sweet.
it's an affordable school, Penn State.
It's fairly expensive. So like,
Is it now?
Yeah, I still got some like like that was the one thing that was like, but I was willing to sacrifice that. I wanted
because
to go
all
there.
college is expensive. The ones I looked at and they bought me out, they gave me a little bit of money. Drexel and Wagner. Wagner dropped their D1 program.
Okay.
Drexel was like $40,000 a year.
Yeah,
and that was back in 2005. So
oh wow,
now that's like what 40,000 back then's like 200,000.
Yeah.
now.
Oh my gosh.
You could have bought up half of Eastridge
Yeah.
for 40,000.
Right. So yeah, then I like a few months later, so my high school coach wrestled at Penn State.
Oh, that's awesome.
So
who was your high school coach?
his name's DeWitt Driscoll.
I haven't heard of him.
Yeah, he's super nice guy. He like was a round away from being an All-American.
Frankie Edgar was too.
Really? Where did he wrestle at?
Clarion.
Oh, cool. All right.
Yeah, they were D1 too.
Yeah, they are. They still are.
Yeah, he was. They have like the occasional guy or sharpshooter in there.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
And Lockhaven's like that too.
Yeah. Well, they're in a good area, up in Pennsylvania.
And Lockhaven, I think one of my regrets is not going to school there, which I think I should have done instead of getting into fighting right away.
Uh-huh.
But I think they were only like 6,000-7,000 a semester out of state. And they were
wow.
like a legit program.
Yeah, they were. Yeah.
For what you could get.
Right.
Because Rutgers said no because I fucked up the application.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing about like we can talk about the tiers of Division I programs, but even to just go into any Division I program, right? There's 60 Division I wrestling programs, like 30 people on a team. And you think about how many like high school wrestlers there are, you know what I mean?
So
to get
many.
onto just one roster, like you go like football to go to college for football, like there's so many teams.
How many D1 schools are there? Is there over 100?
I'm not even sure. I wouldn't be able to give a good guess, but like I know
But way more than 60.
Right. So like any Division I school, that's a good thing to go to.
Even some of the D3 schools are good too.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah. You get some high level D3 schools, high level NAIA schools.
Yeah, NAIA is good. It just means the guy was bad at school.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
Like the guys who win it are tough, or they just don't have the right direction, or
yeah.
like John Jones won NIA.
Really? Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think maybe Phil Davis might have too.
Phil Davis was at Penn State.
But I think was he at NIA before that?
That's a good question. I don't know about that.
I think he was NIA before that.
Yeah.
Because I know somebody who said they were NIA and good wrestler in Jersey.
Yeah.
And then I think they said Phil Davis just destroyed him.
Yeah.
And it might have been like a red shirt year or something.
Yeah.
Do some guys go NIA then red shirt? As their red shirt? Can you do something like that?
That's a good question because the rules are different.
It is.
It's super weird.
I looked to see if I had eligibility at UTC.
Yeah.
I was going to see if I could walk on.
Yeah.
Or at least try. It'd be such a waste of money.
Well, and UTC is Division I.
I know. I was going to try it, but I'd
Yeah.
have to have a talk with the coach. Listen, when my back flares up, you might not see me in 2 days. But now I'm going to give it my all.
Don't mess with my back and we'll be good. Yeah. No, that's yeah, I'm not sure. NAI is a weird.
I had no eligibility. I spent hours looking to see. I was like, it'd be cool to wrestle again when I first moved here. Like, what a good way to end combat sports. Because I always wanted to wrestle in college. So what a good way to end a combat career then. Like, let me hop on the local college.
Yeah.
That's such a pipe dream.
It's like a fun.
It would be a fun end, but just for a semester.
Right.
I probably wouldn't even have enough credits to get an associate's at the end of it. It's like, oh, no, you guys could. Gym's closed. Come back to my gym, guys.
Yeah, there you go.
We're open on the weekends.
Yeah.
My buddy was telling me to open up to some gyms for the Southern Scuffle. I'm like, we're not big enough to host some.
Yeah, that like a college team.
Now, when the Southern Scuffle is, do the teams come down for the Southern Scuffle, or do they just send a few studs?
It depends.
You got to qualify like the Olympics.
No, Southern Scuffle is just any other tournament. Just kind of get like accepted into it. But they'll like. Pretty much any school can send
their whole roster.
A handful of guys.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They could send a couple guys.
Yeah, or you could send a couple, right? There's some rules as to like again, this is like getting into super nitty gritty stuff that I don't fully understand, but like you can only have a certain amount of like things on your schedule. And if you send a certain amount of guys, you have to put it on your schedule. So like a team might only send like 5 guys and they don't have to put it on their official schedule.
Okay.
You know, versus if they send like over half their team, then it's like an official like scheduled event.
College
for
is
them.
so weird.
Yeah, the NCAA.
And
you know,
it's also government and politics. And,
Yeah.
you know, they get guys on without like they find money for guys who need money or like to make their roster the best.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine how much Cale Sanderson's making over there.
That's the thing is like I know that they treat him well, but he was always an advocate for getting the team more resources. You know, like when like they were like they negotiated contracts or whatever, however many years back, and like he was advocating for getting the guys more resources, not so much like getting him more money. But
And I'm sure they're paying them well. From what I read, I think they're considered government employees, possibly.
really, okay,
Or
yeah,
I forget what it is, but collegiate coaches are like the like highest paying jobs
yeah,
in
well,
that field. Like this coach from Alabama who does the football over there makes, I'm sure, millions.
Well, that's the other thing about football, right? Like football and basketball is what brings colleges money.
Well, I'm sure at Penn State where your thing's packed.
So they were packed, but I think Penn State and maybe Iowa, but they were one of the few wrestling programs that kind of broke even. Like the amount of money they put into the program, they got back.
Oh, really? So
yeah,
wrestling doesn't bring in like these ticket monies.
No, it's football.
Even
man.
at Penn State.
Right. Yeah. And even at the highest levels, like they're more so just breaking even. And that might be different now over the past few years, especially with the new like athletes can get paid now. You know.
Oh, they could get paid now.
Yeah, you can make money off of your like image and
if you're good.
Yes,
like
right.
selling your jersey.
It's just like anything else. Yeah,
they should.
Yes. Oh yeah, I think it's great.
Because free college is not enough. These people print money.
Yeah. Well, that's more so what it is, right? Like it's NCAA makes so much money off of these kids, and like if they are good, like when I was at Penn State, I wouldn't have made any money. I wasn't no good.
No,
but I'm
nobody
okay with
gave you a
right,
show.
Exactly, yeah. But like I'm still for like when somebody is at that level, like they should be able to make a little money off of themselves.
Go buy the Gable Stevenson show.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Now, how did your how was it at Penn State? I know we just gone off on tangents, so let's get back to you. How'd your Penn State career go?
It was good. It was I was really stubborn and really like all of who I was like put into me doing well in wrestling, and it
you defined yourself as the wrestler.
Yes, absolutely, and it was definitely to my detriment. At that point, I just didn't I didn't buy into the process that they were they were coaching as much as I could have. Like for one example, right now I'm like 170, 175. I was wrestling at 133 pounds, and I'm not at all the same frame, like not at all the same amount of mass that I have right now.
You couldn't make 133.
No, absolutely not. No, I don't have the same type of muscle, but I was like just as tall. I was cutting like crazy, and just because I thought that like I had to do the hardest thing. Like
right, it makes sense. You're going to be the strongest because you're the heaviest. The basic caveman idea.
Right. Yes, exactly. The caveman idea, right? So, but all is that to say, like, it's such a fun environment up there, right? It's such an enjoyable time. Wrestling is just a hard sport. Like, you don't, like, there's really no, like way around that.
No.
But outside of that, you can make the process enjoyable by just like learning how to get better at wrestling, right? And doing what you need to do so that you're in shape for it, right? But yeah, they just made it really, really enjoyable. So I think the only, like, I wouldn't say regret, but the only thing I look back on and think that wish that I would have done differently is enjoy my time more and make like deeper friendships. Like I was very locked into what I was doing.
Goal oriented.
Yes.
Which is good.
Yeah. Yeah. To a certain extent, it just, I wish I would have made some deeper friendships when I was there. Because I was so focused on like what I felt I needed to do.
Well, I'm sure you got a couple of really good friends.
I did.
You got your buddy Bo, who's killing it right now.
Yeah.
My buddy Caleb out there.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Caleb. Yeah,
good old Caleb. He's awesome.
No, that's not to say that I didn't come out with friends, but just definitely would have. Would have deepened those friendships more.
Yeah, then just take a little off of. You don't have to be 110 all the time. Maybe 95 at times is okay.
Right. And even now, like, see that like that might actually breed better results too. You know, like not being so hyper focused all the time.
Did it feel like work for you when you were hyper focused?
To a certain extent, but I would I'm also naturally like. I like having things to look forward to. I like improving. Like I basically like to sum up a lot of my career was like I'd go into practice, I'd get my ass kicked, and then I'd come home and I'd think about why, and then I'd be like, okay, well if I do this, I don't think I'll get my ass kicked tomorrow, and I'd go in the next day and I'd get my ass kicked again, and but the going home and like sitting down and being like, okay, like. Yeah. Like I loved the process of thinking like, why did that happen? And then like trying to figure out like, well, what do I need to do better? It's just a lot of it, like my mindset, a lot of it fell on like, oh, I just need to work harder. I just need to work longer
instead of solve the puzzle.
Right. Instead of like, I need to go to my coaches and ask like, what, like, how can I do this? Right?
Yeah,
what's the technical side of this? You know what I mean? That type of thing.
Not just hard work and doing more push-ups.
Exactly. Yes.
And I was always raised on that too. Like, got to work harder. I was always the hardest worker in any room I was in when I was doing it at my best. And I would always try to make sure if it wasn't cheating on the push-ups, I was winning the sprints, going home and conditioning myself.
Right.
Really, it was just more of a technicality tweaks I could have made that would have been more useful instead of just grinding my bones out. And like I would walk around, my goal was to be a state champ, and I remember senior year I was walking around with 10-pound weights on my legs throughout the school. I was like, well, if I'm at school, I could still be working out, so let me put these weights. I was the kid with 10-pound weights walking around.
Exactly.
Senior year, like didn't care about anything else, like winning the state title, and I got knocked out in region, so I didn't win it. The kid I got knocked out by won it the next year, but
same. That's it.
And now I find things like I just obsess over the business now and getting you guys better. Like I always have to be busy. I couldn't stay home and then do a game of like if I stay home and play video games all day, even on the day off I know I recover, I will feel so guilty the next day.
Yeah.
And it's usually Monday, so when practice ends, I'll usually like stop home, eat, and then like gotta get back to work inside the gym, get behind that computer, and bring people in.
Yeah,
I think it's a personality thing. You just kind of.
I agree. I think that it's something like because I really like working towards things as well. It's just having changing like overall purpose in life and letting that like hoping that or not hoping but like trying to not be a slave to that, you know, the like needing to like always have something to do, just letting it be a part of me.
Just not letting it defy you. Yeah. That's what Dominic Cruz spoke to me. He said you can't let a fighter defy you because when it's not going good, you are just going to be depressed because your whole life is not going good.
Yeah.
You could be the fighter and this and this and this and this. Don't let one thing define you. That was some of the best advice I've ever heard.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And then once TJ Gillislaw said after I lost my fight, don't beat yourself up too much. That's what the internet's for.
Yeah. There you go.
So what brought you out to UTC?
So I did my 4 year. When I went to Penn State, I was like, I'm going to do 5 years here. Then I'll wrestle and just, I was just like, I'm just going to keep wrestling. That was all my mind thought. Well, 4 years, I did 4 years there instead of doing the whole 5. And long story short on that is I I came to faith, like the Christian faith, like my third year. And
So you weren't raised religious,
no,
huh?
not at all. Very much not.
What brought you to the faith?
So my third year at Penn State, I was wrestling 133. I was one of the backups, and the guy in front of me got injured, and I got the opportunity to step in his place. For a little while, they just didn't really know whether he was going to come back or not. But it ended up that I wrestled basically all the dual meets after that. But along that time, a guy from 141 was cutting some weight to come down and wrestle me off for that position to go to the Big Ten tournament and then ultimately to try to qualify for nationals. At the end of the year, they decided to get us to wrestle off, and this was like the week before the Big Ten tournament, and I got taken down with like 7 seconds left, lost by a point, and it's still like to this day, like I kind of still get like a reaction to it, it's just like. It was the craziest feeling I've ever felt. Like I was broken in like so many ways, and like and wrestling had been that thing like we talked about before that it was very much tied to who I was. So, and now granted, if I win this wrestle off, it wasn't like I thought I was gonna go win a national title that year, right? But that was the next step that I needed to kind of get to those places, right? Exactly, right. And so yeah, it broke me. But kind of throughout that year, I'd been going to like an athlete's Bible study, and more so just because like my buddies were going, and I was like trying to meet cute girls, and there were some there, and I was like, this is cool. I mean, I'm not doing anything else Wednesday night, you know. And so, but after that, there was somebody who was teaching, and there's a verse in the Bible, and that talks about like seek the kingdom of God, and all these things will be added to you. Like basically, like in my mind, I'm like, okay, so I have to just like dive into this faith stuff, and then I'll go be a national champion next year. Like that's that's what I've been missing. You know, light bulb in my head. Like, you know, like we talked about before, I get my ass kicked and then I figure out something and I'm like, no, I won't get my ass kicked tomorrow.
I need Jesus to hit him with a chair while I'm wrestling.
Right. So like that, yes, right. So that's kind of like, and I mean, like I'm pretty especially that point, I was pretty intense in my pursuit of things. So like, I'm like, all right, let's do it. You know, I got baptized like that. That was February 22nd of 2016 or 17.
And you finished the Bible by February 25th, 2016. You sped read it through the whole thing.
Right.
You're obsessed.
But I mean, I'm reading day and night. I'm going to the Bible studies. I'm going to now like smaller group stuff. And basically from like, I'm reading a lot, and I'm still in this mindset of like, all right, when am I going to get better at wrestling?
Yeah, my
you know
doubles should be a lot more explosive.
Like I still get my ass kicked, you know. But it's kind of I'm reading this stuff, and it finally just starts sinking in, like what I'm actually reading. I'm like, oh, maybe that's not what this is saying, you know. And from there, came to I guess I would say like a more like a more real faith. And
you step back a little.
Yeah. And that's what and so your initial question is like what brought me down to Chattanooga.
Yes.
I decided to, instead of doing 5 years, I stopped at 4 years, and I came down here to do a program called the Fellows Program, and it's basically 9 months of like how to live life centered around that faith. Big portion of it is like how does faith influence any type of work. So like a lot of times I'm sure like people's minds go to like, oh, like if you're a Christian, and it definitely did for me, like if you're a Christian, like the best Christians are pastors, or the best Christians are monks, right? Like that's how like faith will influence like where you're going to work. Well, this program was all about like, well, if you're not going to be a pastor, like, well, first of all, that's not true. Like there's there should be faithful people in all of the workplaces, right? So how is that? Like, how do you do that? You know, if you're not in the church all the time, if you're like, if I'm wrestling or if I'm fighting, right? Like, how do I do that faithfully? So that was what initially brought me down to Chattanooga. And then the NCAA granted me a missions red shirt. And that's why I wrestled for UTC.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I didn't even plan to do that.
It just happened.
Yeah, it just happened. I had a guy. So you met Dennis.
Yeah, he's awesome.
So he was the RTC coach at the time, and we got to be really good friends during that year that I was down here because I was wrestling at UTC, and he was the one that was like instrumental in being like, we got to see if you can get a year back so you can wrestle again. And I was like, all right, listen. If like we'll send the paperwork in. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And it happened. So it was like.
So you dusted the old singlet off, got the shoe, dust off the shoes,
and then broke my sternum. And that was.
You broke it right away. Huh?
I broke it 2 weeks before the season, and then they didn't know. They didn't know what it was. So it's basically like, it was it's as much pain as you can tolerate, which is code word for like stop being a little baby, right? And I wrestled the first month of the season with it. I basically just take a lot of pain medication before I wrestle. And
not even just ibuprofen, like.
So ibuprofen, I would take large amounts of ibuprofen and then like certain other stuff. I don't even remember the name of it.
Like hydrocodone.
Who knows?
Was it? But that stuff kind of affects your cardio, no?
Yeah, nothing like that. Nothing like
not
not like Oxy or anything like that. Nothing too crazy. But
he wrestles well for a junkie.
Yeah. Right. So yeah, I did I was doing that. It's basically like if I'd hit my chest like fair, like not even hard, just the right way, it felt like a saloon door was like opening and closing. And like it felt like two bones were rubbing against each other. And finally, so we got x-rays like early on in the process, but they x-rayed them straight on.
You needed a side profile.
I actually needed a top profile. So the doctor was like, they got me a top profile, and the doctor was like, well, never seen a sternum break like this, but you have a broken sternum. And so it was like middle of the year at that point when they finally figured it out. So it was like all right, like 4 weeks and you'll be good. And 4 weeks came back, and I wrestled the first day, and I was like, oh yeah, I am good. Like I feel good. Second day, I was like, okay, like I mean, it wasn't so good. And then third day was like, oh crap, this isn't good.
It's not.
And so then it would be like, then a few more weeks, then I'd come back and like the same process, like, okay, yeah, I think I'm good. And like, oh, I don't know. And then I'd get hit bad, and then
it'd be back to square one.
And so yeah, just kind of.
So you didn't get to do the NCAAs that year, no?
Well, and that year was the year that COVID started, so NCAAs didn't hapen. That was the year. So
you got another year left in you.
Technically, I do.
Do you really?
Well, no, actually, that year that was nuts. The whole thing. NCAA didn't grant a red shirt for those guys. They granted a red shirt for the next year, which is just silly. But I technically could have got a year back because of my medical.
Are you trying to go back out?
Nah, I don't think it would work now, because I think there's like a certain time clock. Like I would have had to use it the next year.
Right.
I think. So.
Yeah. They're like, hey, get out of here,
and especially, George. Yeah, you're freaking.
We don't need your broken ass.
We don't need your 28-year-old like freaking wrestling 19.
35-year-old ass.
Right.
They would write papers on me just about my back hair. I'm like, hey guys, you want to play some jacks?
Yeah.
You ever see these things, Pogs?
Right. Yeah.
So what got you in? So UTC's over.
Yep.
What kept you out here?
So I met my wife, who also did that same program. the 9-month program.
So
through
you
the
did
churches.
the program just to meet Sylvia.
There you go.
That's,
Yeah.
you heard it,
So,
Sylvia.
she did it the year before I did, and yeah, we kind of knew of each other, and then it was the year like when I was wrestling at UTC. That's when we started like dating and doing all that.
Did she come out to some of your matches?
She did, yeah. She was like, yeah, she was relatively anxious, and she just like, man, she had such a horrible view of combat sports to begin with. Because I got like, when I broke my sternum, like I'd go over to her house and like I couldn't roll over. You know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, I feel horrible. And she's like, what are you doing? Like, why are you doing this? And you know, I'm cutting weight and not eating that much. And she's like, what the heck is this? She's a sweet Southern lady and like
no clue about this.
Oh gosh,
dirty sport that gives you herpes.
Absolutely, yes, right. And then that comes along. She's like, what the frick is this?
You got herpes? No, it's on my face.
Yeah,
it's the same thing, but it's different.
Yeah, same but different. Yeah. No. So she, so that's what kept me. Like we, especially during the pandemic, we got engaged during the pandemic. So fun fact for our listeners: Tom and I have the exact same wedding date. Like, October 17th, 2020.
2020. We did.
Yes.
But how long have you guys known each other?
That's a good. We knew each other like we knew of each other for 2 years before that. We knew each other for probably like a year and a few months before that.
Oh, all right. So you rushed him. You Christian boy.
Yeah.
You knew of each other. You're like, oh, George, you really like God. There's this girl, Sylvia. She likes God more.
Yeah. I wish there was a lot more to it, but that's fairly accurate.
That's how you deal with each other. Like, no, I'm the biggest lover of Jesus here. So you met her and you stuck around.
We met. Yeah, we met, got married. Both, like, especially the thing about Chattanooga is like it doesn't really push you away. You know, it's nice here.
It's a cool city.
Yeah, it's a cool city. And when we got married, she was in her last year of grad school to be a counselor, mental health counselor.
Oh, cool.
So we were definitely stuck in until that, right? Like she had to finish school. I was kind of like here and there. I was doing personal training, still am, but not totally locked down to this place. Like
you can
like
train
Chattanooga.
anywhere,
right? Yeah, to Chattanooga. I really like where I work, but then she got a really good job, so outside of grad school, so we're just still here.
Still here.
Yeah.
No plans to move or
No,
anything.
not necessarily. No.
So what got you in I guess you started with jiu-jitsu, right?
Yeah. So Chip, one of the members here, but I had done like Chip used to come in with Dan to UTC, and me and Dan, like, he wanted to get better at wrestling for jiu-jitsu, so we'd wrestle. This is like 2 years ago.
Chip.
Yeah. So like I knew Chip, and I knew that he like had a place to do jiu-jitsu, and I was just struggling. Like, well, first, like after wrestling, I needed a break. Like I was like broken sternum, all the like, and just like the mental stuff.
Bitterness.
Yes, yeah, it was just
disappointment. All the above.
Needed a break, and like I was excited about getting married, so like my mind was off of everything. Well, when the dust kind of settled, I was like, oh man, I feel like I need something back. You know, I don't really know what it is though. So I texted Chip. I was like, hey, where do you do jiu-jitsu at? You know, and he told me like Veritas out in Dalton. So I went out there and really liked it, but also just like really liked the people out there. So
they're awesome out there.
So like and that was, and like just as much as I like the people out there, it's more of a testament just like I just like the people in like combat sports and wrestling and jiu-jitsu and
that's your people.
Yes, just my people, right?
Jiu-jitsu could be a little nerdy, but
yeah, that's true. I guess
I like them if they're not afraid of a takedown.
Right. So there you go. Yeah. So yeah, started going there. Yeah, and then we met at an airport.
Yeah. So go on. So me and George, actually, I was doing a camp. I was helping Ryan Hole with his camp. He bought me out to the second to last week to just basically fight me for a week. That's usually how it goes. The week before fight week, he brings me out to fight me because he knows I'm very well rounded. So I come into the airport and I land, and George stops me. It's like, hey, I think I know you. Actually, George, explain it from your end. Your end.
Well, from my end, me and Sylvia are picking up one of our friends, and we're doing like kind of like the drive around, right? Oh, he's not yet there. No, they're not there yet. We can't park. We'll keep driving around. And so we drive around one time, and I looked over, and I thought, because I had watched a few seasons of The Ultimate Fighter, and just so happened I watched the season that you were on.
By chance. It's pretty much chance. Right. That.
And I was like, I was like talking to Sylvia. I was like, I think I know that guy. And at this point, also, I'm like, I really like jiu-jitsu, and I'm like, but Dalton's like 45 minutes away.
Right.
Like I was like, I really want to find a place closer to me. So I'd kind of been like hopping around gyms to just like see different places.
Find the right fit.
Yes. And so I'm like, I think I know that guy. And then we come back around, and like you're still there, and you turn to the side, and you had a UFC bag on. And I was like, okay, that's definitely a guy, I think. And I start to pull over, and Sylvia's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm going to say what's up. And she was like, what, like, do you know him? I'm like, no, but like, I mean, like, it'll be fine. So like, I pull up, and we roll down the window. I'm like, I don't know. I was like, hey, are you like, is your name Tom? And you're like, yeah. I was like, in my mind, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna see where he trains at. Like, where's he training at around here? You know what I mean? Like, if he's just coming down to like get a weekend training, in, it's probably a good place. And so I was like, where do you train at? And you're like, and you told me like about how you were like, you had a gym, you just opened up, and I was like, oh, this is sick. And that was a Sunday. And you were like, yeah, come in. Like, first week's free and all that. And I was like, all right, sweet. So I just came in the next day.
Oh man, I remember until you pulled me and asked, and you're like, "I'm a Penn State. I wrestled at Penn State." Da, 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 da. I was like, I was just with Caleb.
Yes, that's right.
He wrestled for Penn State. You know, you're like, I did. I was like, come in tomorrow.
Yeah.
Then I messaged Caleb. Send this guy in. I'll send you a rash card. I never sent that rash card, but when Ryan was out here, I sent him. I was like, give this to Caleb. Yeah, I don't know if Caleb got that rash card or not yet. Yeah, but he's a cool guy.
Yeah, he is. Good dude. Really good dude.
I was excited. He does a lot of the wrestling over there with Ryan's gym over there. I guess he's the wrestler guy there.
Yeah.
So now that you graduated, a lot of your teammates have spread out, huh?
Yeah, it's true. It's definitely the guys that I was wrestling with are kind of like coaching in different places now. Or
a lot of them are doing MMA now.
And like quite a few have transitioned into MMA. Some more serious than others. Some have just kind of dabbled in it, but yeah, it's definitely transition now.
But there's a good amount transition into MMA, right? You said they're actually building a camp by Penn State. ATT did.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they've already built it up. Bo, I don't know I don't know his exact position, but he's like within the management side of.
Really, they put Bo on it.
Yeah,
I figured they would just be like, he's the athlete.
He is as well. I just think like he's got some. Like I said, I don't really know.
Maybe a small ownership stake
something like that. Yeah. But yeah, he was really influential in getting it there and getting it built up.
It makes sense.
It does.
But do a lot of the Penn State guys stick around?
Yeah, I think a lot of them do. And apparently, from what Bo says, a lot of the college guys are interested in fighting. So it'll just be like a really smooth transition,
right?
Having that right there.
And they're probably gonna put some good coaches there. I'm sure he's got good coaches.
Yeah, they've got
ATT knows what they're doing.
Yeah, they've got two coaches there now who seem
a striking and a grappling coach.
Yep,
and they figure everybody knows they're wrestling.
Yeah. You got wrestling right down the road.
Or they'll get one of those guys to coach.
Right.
If Bo's not coaching it.
Yeah. So, and then I mean, I think they got a boxing guy as well.
Okay.
Because Penn State's got a fairly good boxing program.
They do. Lockhaven had a good boxing program.
Really?
Too.
Okay.
Yeah, my boxing coach took second in the nation.
Oh, nice.
Out of Lockhaven.
Yeah.
And they apparently had a really good. He said they would actually bring him in, and they had a program where they would go and fight convicts that boxing training and stuff. Yeah. Like the convicts would have their own boxing program. And he said there wasn't anything scarier than going to that prison and fighting these guys. And like some of these guys are never going to see the outside, so they can't wait to beat up these college kids.
Yeah, dang, that's pretty cool.
Imagine seeing you're a convict and you're working your boxing, and then you see these privileged college kids, and privileged in your eyes.
Yeah.
They're anybody's more privileged
Right,
than a man
right.
behind bars.
Yeah.
And then like, yeah, let me take them out.
Yeah.
So they would. At the end, he told me they would earn their respect and they were cool at the end. But in
Yeah.
the beginning, he said these guys would fucking.
All right.
They had all heart and all chin, and they
Yeah.
could fight.
Yeah. No, that's cool.
So what got you into MMA? So you started coming to my gym. You got an MMA fight coming up.
That's true.
You weren't so gung ho about this though to begin with.
No, what got me into it was you.
Was me?
Yeah. Yeah. I think you gave me a great like environment and space to decide it myself. It's like I never felt forced to do a fight. You were all, and that's what you kept saying. It's like, hey, I think you should fight, but I don't like. I'll never force you to fight. So I always just felt like I could come in and just learn. Like, and that was what I enjoyed doing, is like just coming in and learning something new. And I started to pick it up in a way that was fun, and then like one thing led to the next, and we did that kickboxing, smoker, and then now I'm fighting.
You didn't really get a taste of the competition, because I know we're like, maybe we should get you an amateur one. That's like at that point, let's let you use your best weapons then.
Right, yeah, and I remember driving home with Sylvia, and she was like, "Would you want to do that again?" And I was like, "Nah, if I'm doing that again, I'm gonna be able to grab someone's leg." Like,
right.
Like, might as well just go and do
And that was a good start. Like,
yes.
Like,
I absolutely agree.
You win, and then the grappling tournament was good too.
Yep. Yeah, that was good too. Yeah. I think, especially the kickboxing, because like there was different types of nerves where like I was a novice, right? Like I didn't get to use like any of the things that I'm experienced in. You know, it's like,
no, not what you're good at.
Right. If stuff starts going south, like, you just gotta stay in there, you know. Like, yeah, very much a beginner still in the stand up. So it's like, yeah, that was good. That was like a good way.
Get you out of your element. Yeah. Because even in a jiu-jitsu tournament, you're kind of in your element.
Exactly. Yeah. The grappling.
And you
translates.
Just won one at blue belt gi and no gi. How did you feel doing that?
Yeah, I felt good. I was pretty nervous going into it.
Were you nervous before the thing even started?
Yeah. Oh yeah, big time. Yeah.
That's important.
Yeah. But once it started, it was just, felt good.
That was awesome.
Yeah,
it was good. We almost took the whole thing.
Yeah, that was cool.
We're
cool
close.
As a team to get second. That's fun.
Our first time doing it, like that was our first tournament after like 2 years of being in the gym. We went like 2 and like 28.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that.
It was awful. Dylan was the only one who won.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's super cool though. That like you see that evolution happen.
Oh yeah. We had a lot drop off since then. We got a little bit more of more talented people came in a little bit with wrestling experience, and then also guys got better. Yeah.
That's
a big thing. A year and with me, you get to see like, oh, we made a big jump.
Right.
So that was like awesome to see. So how do you feel about your fight coming up?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm nervous and also confident and also excited, and just figuring out how to deal with the unknown side of things, right? Because the reality of a fight or any sporting endeavor or anything in life, right? Like just the future is that like things could go good or things could go bad, right? Or like in this case, like you could win or you could lose, right? That's the kind of the realistic side of it.
Yes.
But then how I deal with that, like that's kind of what I can control. And so like the way that I've been kind of trying, like naturally I'll get pretty nervous, and like the way that I'm kind of like dealing with that is just saying like I can win this, like, and I can choose to like be confident that I can win it, right? And but also not step outside of the reality that like it's a fight and I have to be like very focused and locked
prepared.
in, right? But really, it comes down to like, because like everybody likes to compete, right? Like when we're 2 years old,
You want to win the running race.
Exactly, right? I don't need to foster that so much, but it's more so like, what am I doing day to day that is going to make a difference? So like, and some days it might be like taking time off and just eating good food and like sitting in an Epsom salt bath, right? That doesn't necessarily mean that I'm always doing sprints or I'm always like grappling really hard, right?
Yeah, recovery is part of it.
Exactly, right? But it's looking at like the day-to-day plans of it, right? So yeah, that's kind of how I'm thinking about it, feeling about it. I want to set a good foundation under it. So whether this is my first fight of many or whether it's my first and last fight,
one and done,
right?
Yeah.
Like who knows? Like and that's the same thing about like the unknown of the future, right? But I want to be okay with either of those, and I want to like come into it with in a healthy place as well.
Yeah, I'm sure we all think you're going to do very well. And I think that about all my guys, that they're going to do very well. And, that's really the way to approach it. It definitely is a ton of uncertainty because it's not a wrestling match.
Right.
It's a competition, so there's certainty in that aspect, but it is still a fight. And,
Right.
And you're fighting April 16th here at Camp Jordan. Now, is there any sponsors you want to give a shout out to?
No, I don't necessarily have any sponsors.
You sure do. You got Salsarita.
Heck yeah, dude. Salsarita? Yeah, I got Salsarita.
So we got Bobby.
And we got Bobby. Wow.
So hold on. I'm going to help you cut these promos.
All right.
All right. So here's how it is.
Wow.
First and foremost, I want to thank my sponsor, Salsarita, for giving me the healthiest food and the whitest of white meat chicken. And organically grown. And if I couldn't have made this weight that I haven't made yet if it wasn't for Salsarita. They combine the two best things, salsa and margaritas.
There you go.
So here you go. Try one.
Oh, that was my turn? All right.
You just make shit up. Just make your sponsor happy. That's the key.
Right. Wow. Well,
first and foremost, I'd like to thank.
First, I'd like to thank Salsarita for sponsoring me, having the greatest name on the market, putting the two best things together, salsas and margaritas.
And all organic.
All organic, I'm
Grass fed.
Grass fed? Wow, I don't know if I'll claim that. But
except the chickens, they feed them tastier chickens to make it even tastier.
Yeah. But yeah, the Salsarita and Elite Clean, man, just cleaning stuff in the elitist way. My man Bobby, who is owner and operator.
That Bobby guy. He could clean. I once saw him wiping Josh down when he had sweat, and Josh came out white.
That's wow. That's nuts.
Josh Mackey, not Josh Tolson.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, there's that. Maybe your boys at Jason House.
Kyle House?
Yeah, Kyle House. Jason House is the manager.
Yeah. That's I guess even if they don't sponsor, they're getting a hefty crew together to come and watch.
Yeah,
so.
And you lift weights there.
Yeah, and I get to lift there. Yeah, so yeah, we could call that a sponsor because I get to. That's part of my training.
You can give them a shout out. It's your boss, make them happy.
Heck yeah, there you go. Yeah. Kyle House Fitness, thanks to them. Yeah, everyone, even everyone that's just been part of the training process.
You can thank
awesome.
Militia later. You owe Veritas a big thank you.
Yeah, that's absolutely
They're
true.
awesome people over there.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of people to thank. Thank my wife for
putting up with you.
I guess that's two pronged. Putting up with me day to day and then letting me fight. Yeah, that's she's too sweet for her own good, so she's definitely not used to this fight and stuff.
Oh, she'll have fun.
Yeah,
she'll have fun.
She's being very loving to respect what I'm doing.
Well, we want to thank you for that, Sylvia. Ladies and gentlemen, that is our podcast. Thank you, George, for coming on in.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's a good time.
And we will see you guys April 16th. We have tickets here, or you could contact George for tickets. Or you could buy it online. He'll post a link when they eventually give it to him. Just make sure you click his name and come out and support him. I'm Tom Galicchio. This is George Carpenter. This is the Militia MMA podcast.
Sweet. Thanks.
Thank you for coming, George.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. A good time.